Hello, good evening, everybody. Uh, nice to see you all today again on a Sunday. And we will be today talking on a very, very important topic, which I feel is, which all of us have experienced at least once in our life. And that is failure. So we're going to talk about fear and failure. And what exactly is about fear and failure, and what is it that what it does to us. So we'll just wait a while for people to join in case they're available or they're busy elsewhere on a Sunday. So I'll give you 5 minutes and we'll resume after 5 minutes. So today we'll talk on this failure, and it's a very important emotion. And it is one of the 7 universal emotions, which are like fear, anger, contempt, disgust, enjoyment, sadness, and surprise. Now, I had spoken about beliefs and biases in last Sunday, and they also have an effect on your, what do you call, your symptoms of fear and anxiety. Why? That is what is we have to see, and we'll see what leads to fear, what is the outcome of fear, and how it affects our productivity, work-life balance, relationships, and most important, our growth. So what is fear? If anybody can just type in the chat box, what is fear? It's an emotional response, isn't it? And this emotional response is to something that is unsafe, dangerous, or threatening. So there is a part of a brain which is called amygdala, and this is the most primitive part of the brain. So when our ancestors 2000 years ago, 3000 years ago, when they used to be living in the jungles, they had physical threats from animals, weather, harsh conditions, temperatures. And that was an effect to make them effective for survival. How would one survive on that, right? So what they did was the brain started creating those experiences, collecting them, and then it started giving us a emotion called fear. Okay. Now this emotion called fear is important for us because it helps us survive. Fear is considered as a negative emotion, right? But it is not negative. It is basically there to help you in your survival. And now the threats are less because our lifestyles have changed, technology has come in, we have become more modernized. We are away from actual physical threats from animals and other dangerous predators. So that is what is bringing us this emotion called fear has stayed with us. So basically, you must realize that it can be a, it can be bad if it is in excess, but if it is in moderation or low moderation, it is adequate. And that is required because, as I said, it is for your survival. It protects you from threats, dangers, harm, injury, or anything else, death. Okay. Okay. Now, let's see what are the physical. There are physical symptoms and there are emotional symptoms of fear. So, physical symptoms, when you witness fear, if you recollect from your experience of fear, you feel dizzy, you feel nauseous, like vomiting, you tremble, and you have a dry mouth. These are the signs of physical symptoms that you're undergoing that emotion of fear. Emotional symptoms are very common and it is overwhelming. You lose control And there is a sense of sudden death, like, oh my God, I think I'll die, or something bad will happen to me. So this is what are the physical and emotional symptoms which everybody goes through. But do not worry, fear is a protective and primal response by our body. Okay. And what we fear is we fear things and situations. So as I go ahead, I'll tell you how this fear creeps into your everyday life without your knowledge, and how it affects your productivity, how it affects your relationships, how it affects your work and your life in general. Right? Now, what are the causes of fear? You see why I'm explaining this to you, because if you understand this emotion called fear, you'll be able to face the challenges of life in a better manner. So best is first to understand the thing. What is it about? Fear is caused by some specific object or a situation. An object can be, let's say, a stone is being thrown at you. And one after the other, the stones are being thrown and you're ducking and here and there. And suddenly you feel, oh my God, if it hits me, what will happen? Situations, certain situations, you're fearful in them. Let's say, as we were children, and suddenly we were in the class and the class teacher told us, principal has called you. Go and meet him in his office. Now, all that distance from your classroom to the principal's office, you were fearful. My God, what has happened? What punishment will I get? What did I do? So that was a typical situational example I've given you. Another fear emotion creator is future events. I have an exam in first week of November. Fear. I hope I will pass. Will I pass? Will I fail? What will happen if I fail? What if I don't get good marks? Then will I get admission in the university, etc., etc. So that is a future event which is giving you fear. Some engaging events, not engaging, imagined events. Imagined events are mostly with people with poor mental health. They imagine the events in their minds. Oh, now I'm going to meet with an accident. Oh, now I'm going to fall sick. What will happen if I lose my job? What if some car comes and bangs me? These are typical fear stressors in people who have low mental well-being, and they become psychotic disorders later, because the intensity is so high that the body starts releasing bad chemicals which affect our brain and our physical health. Then there are environmental dangers. The best thing I can give you is the fear of catching COVID. Just a year ago, we were all stuck in this pandemic called COVID. Everybody was fearful. If someone would sneeze next to you, you would feel, oh my God, I've got that germ. If you touch something, oh, what if I get? So that is the environmental danger. It can be even a earthquake. It can be a tsunami. It can be flooding. Now, like South Italy is flooded. There have been heavy rains today. And last is the fear of the unknown. आगे क्या होगा? So we don't know. Past is regret. Future is worry. So we are all the time worried about what will happen in future. What if I lose my job? What if my children, they don't study well and they don't get a job? How will I get the money to survive after I retire? All these are fear of the unknown. So these are the major causes of fear, which are the main obstacles in your progress in life, and they reduce your ability to fight and take up the challenges in life. Okay, right. So what are the common fears we face? There is fear of failure. There is fear of rejection. First one is the most common one, and that is what stops us from taking a step outside our comfort zone. We are not ready to leave our comfort zone. For example, you're at your work and there is a new project which has come up. and that project is the first, one of its kind, never done by your company. So your team manager comes and tells you that I will be assigning you this project. Will you be able to handle it? Suddenly a fear crops up. Oh my God, what if I fail? I say, no, 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 I don't want it. You give it to somebody else. Then second is fear of rejection. I approach a girl whom I like, whom I think she's beautiful. But I'm scared to go and tell her this and approach her because she might reject me. So I don't take that move. I don't walk up to her and tell her. Fear of abandonment. This is very common in children. When parents go to work or parents are going somewhere, even to the market, they feel that they will not come back. Don't leave me. They start crying. So is with elders also. They feel that, oh, elder people feel that what may if my children abandon me and they tell me in my old age and they tell me to go and live in an old age home. Fear of death, fear of illness, very common. Fear of losing control. This is most common with people who are depressed, who are having anxiety disorder, who are having other mental disorders like PTSD, maladaptive behavior. So these are the most common types of fears which are interchanging. They are there with you in some situation or the other, or some experience or the other. And fear comes from your bad experience also. Remember this. So what can we do to overcome fear? First of all is identify your fear. Understand and identify your fear. Now, like I have an exam in the month of November. So make a statement, write it down. I am fearful of my exam, which is scheduled in first week of November. That is first thing. What am I afraid of? I am afraid of that exam. I have identified the core issue of that fear which is generating in me, which is making me uneasy today on 20th of October. And let's say the exam was in the on 5th of November. So I have identified the fear and I know I am afraid of that exam. That is step number one. Step number two is called in mental treatment and in psychological treatment, we call it exposure theory. Exposure theory is that you have to get used to that fear bit by bit. So in exposure theory, what happens? Let's say I have a phobia, I have fear of cockroaches. So you are shown pictures, you are shown live cockroaches in different sessions, so that you become accustomed to that particular object or that particular situation or that particular event. So that exposure theory can only be given to you by mentors and your coaches. So that is if you wish to take, if you have serious phobias. Then is be mindful. Wherever you are, be totally there. Don't daydream and don't think about the future and all. Now, once you're there, you understand that my fear is for that exam. Then you ask yourself, what have I done to overcome this fear? Have I studied enough? Have I prepared enough? Am I ready to give the test? Okay. Then is once you're mindful of yourself, you're in the present, in the now, then you work out a strategy to beat that fear. Okay. Now, if this fear is coming to me, what is it that is missing? Okay, I have not prepared this subject well. I need to put in more effort in mathematics. I need to practice more upon my English. Now you have identified the key areas which are the potential sources for creating fear into you. The exam fear has been subdivided into preparation for maths and improving English. So you made it into small bits which are manageable now. So the degree of fear also reduces automatically. Okay. be active. When I say be active is try and move around. Physical activity is very important because when you're physically active, then you are in a better state to handle the stress caused by fear. If you're sitting somewhere and brooding and thinking, you will have the problem. You'll find that fear gripping you, and you'll stop working. You will stop doing anything progressive. You will stop doing anything productive. You will ruin your relationships also. Right? Okay. Spend time with people to overcome fear. It's always good to talk about your fear. In this example which I gave you, where they say, okay, like I'm worried about this exam which is scheduled in first week of November. You may speak to your friend, you may speak to your parents, you may speak to your brother, sister, you may speak to your classmates, anybody. The moment you express it, you will get feedback. That feedback will be helpful for you to overcome that fear. Somebody may give you an idea. Oh, there is an old question paper, try and solve this. It makes a lot of difference. Then accept it. Accept your emotion of fear. Yes, I am fearful. What we do is we avoid acceptance. So, can you stop your thoughts? Just a minute. Let me ask you a question. Can anybody stop thoughts coming to your mind? You cannot. So once you accept, yes, this fear has come to me. I'm fearful now. My body heart rate has increased. My blood pressure has increased. I'm dizzy. Why is this happening? Is because of that exam pressure. Now, once you accept it, there's an automatic change in your body because your vitals are not under your control. The vitals are controlled subconsciously without your knowledge. Your digestion, blood circulation, your body temperature, your breathing, everything is controlled. The moment this acceptance comes, the brain gets a message that yes, you're accepted, that you're. So it's like ego satisfaction. So the brain pulls out from that. He does not give too much importance to it and starts working on some other functions of the body. So these are very simple texts. And best part in fear is when you feel fearful, please do deep breathing. And it's called 478 breathing technique. 478 breathing technique is count 4 and inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it in your lungs for 7 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And release it with a noise. Make this noise. And count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It sounds easy. It's very difficult. If you do it 4 times, 5 times, you will find you will be panting. And that is what exactly is required. More oxygen is sucked in by your lungs, and the level of adrenaline and cortisol goes down. These are the two brain chemicals which actually emerge in fear. Okay. So this is what is important, that you take steps. First is identification, then facing your fears, being mindful of your fears, discussing your fears with people, friends, peers, friends, or anybody else, your spouse. And last is accepting it. Acceptance is very important. Now, we come to failure. All of us have failed in life sometime or the other. Only thing is we have not paid attention to it. We have failed. Someone has failed to play the instrument correctly. Someone has failed to ride the bicycle correctly. Somebody has actually failed in one of the class 2, class 3, class 4, class 5, class 9. So failure is everywhere. But it is actually not meeting the desired objective or a standard. That is failure. Now, there can be many reasons to a failure, but we'll not go into that, but we'll see what is failure. You see, failure is because of failure of tactics, failure of strategy, and failure of vision. So let's take these one by one. And I'll tell you from stage one, this is the, you know, you have failed to create a good workable system for a particular task or an event. So that system fails and you're not getting the desired result, which is termed as failure. So let's say your aim was to get 80% marks in your exam, but your method of preparation was faulty. You did not have a timetable. You did not go sequentially studying the syllabus. You did not pay attention to some of the subjects. Failure of your system. The system didn't work. Though you spend 4 hours, 5 hours every day studying, but still you failed because the system, the methodology was wrong. Second is this failure of tactics is called the how mistake. How did I do it? Failure of strategy is the what mistake. That is, you have created a strategy. Okay, I have to sell product X, so many numbers, let's say 10 numbers of product, 10 number of product X, which may be a computer, which may be anything that mobile in this month. Now, what happens is you create a strategy, you advertise, you give it on social media, you hold free demonstrations, and that strategy somehow fails, and you just end up selling only one where you had to sell 10. So the strategy was faulty. What went wrong was my marketing was not good enough. My presence and the convincing power was not enough. So the strategy failed. I could not convince my buyers that this product is good. And last failure, which is often very common, is failure of vision. We don't know where we are going. We don't know what is our purpose in life. So we are living minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. We do nothing different from others. And successful people are those who do things differently. They don't follow the herd. So when there is no vision, there is no roadmap. So there is no question of success. And there fear comes in. I'm fearful of tomorrow. I'm fearful of my future because I don't have a vision. I don't know what am I doing? Why am I doing? What is my why? What I want in life? How to get what I want in life? I don't know. So I'm just rolling on. So that creates fear in me. Oh, what next? What next? What next? What will happen now? What will happen now? And this builds up and it causes stress, and this stress converts into mental disorders of depression, anxiety, then aggression, maladaptive behavior. How will you know that you fear failure? These are the things. First, if you avoid anything, that means you're fearful of that particular situation, that particular object, or that particular activity or event. You avoid it. For example, there are people who have been abused or who have been insulted in their childhood. They don't like to interact socially. So wherever there is a social gathering, that particular person avoids that gathering. So if there is avoidance, that means there is fear of failure. Anxiety. meeting your boss or giving a presentation in a meeting causes anxiety to you because you're fearful of failure. You feel, oh, what if I don't perform well? What if my slide deck is not accepted and people turn it down or ridicule it? Helplessness. You are doing your best. You want to raise very badly in your workplace. You are doing everything. You've learned skills. You have you've done new courses. You have learned new techniques, but you are not going anywhere and you're feeling helpless. What do I do? I can't do anything. I'm not good enough. Why nobody congratulates me or says you're good? Helplessness. Feeling out of control. Feeling out of control is you want to do something, but you cannot do it. Simple example. For example, Mr. X has put on 10 kgs of weight. He wants to reduce 5 kgs. So he decides every day morning at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, I will be in the gym. But when the alarm goes off and he has to go to the gym, he is not able to do it. He doesn't get out of the bed only because he's out of control. He's in his comfort zone. He doesn't want to change anything. He doesn't want to take that step. So there is fear. Oh my God, I put on 10 kgs. What if I get a heart attack? Indecisiveness. You cannot decide. You cannot take decisions because of this fear of failure. Logical, correct, and timely decisions elude you. You are not able to think and decide as to what should I do. Should I change my strategy? Should I change my plan? Should I change my product? No. Indecisiveness. Powerlessness. Powerlessness is basically you feel that, oh, I wish I had, I was, I should have been better off when I was had I got some good marks in my BTech, and then had I been a postgraduate, I would have been at a senior level in my work. You feel that you don't have the required assets, required resources. You're not powerful enough. You feel you take yourself as weak. So when you think that you're weak, you feel, oh, I might fail because I don't have all this. So these are the signs which are the indicators of fear of failure. Now let's see the components of success. This is the last one. We end of the year. Very interesting. If you see, all successful people have failed in not one attempt, many attempts. I'll give you a simple example. I was reading about Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb. He said that they say he tried 10,000 different experiments and all those 10,000 failed. So this one, when he succeeded, he said that I have made this bulb, electric bulb, all right, but I also know 10,000 different ways to create a bulb. Simply put, he's learned from his failure and he kept at it, kept working at it. He failed once, attempted again, failed, attempted, failed, attempted. And what most people do after a failure, they close shop. Simple and very good example of startups. There are people having startups, they wait for 1 year, it's not working, close down because we have failed. But there's no attempt to change the strategy, change the vision, or change tactics. So for success, failure is a must. It is the first step. Then you need persistence. Persistence is okay. I'm failing, doesn't matter. Stand up, get up, and try again. Sacrifice. You have to sacrifice to succeed. If you want to be a good musician, you cannot be going for movies and not practicing, not getting a good teacher, not learning. Unless you sacrifice your time for it, you will not be a good musician. Disappointment. Yes, there is disappointment when you fail, but how do you handle that disappointment is important. Okay, it's good to feel bad for a while, but then do you drop it, or you sync with that disappointment? Having good habits, productive habits, good sleep, good diet, exercise, mindfulness, mind alertness, skills, managing resources, all these are good habits. Time management, good communication skills. And last is, of course, dedication. So until and unless you're passionate about something, it will not happen. And when something you want doesn't happen, it leads to disappointment, failure, and failure causes fear. So most of the time, there is a thought process which people say, when I have not tried, how can I fail? I won't try only, so I won't fail. So if you don't try, you won't fail. If you don't fail, you won't grow. Right? So keep it, try and identify your fears. If there are any questions, please put it in the chat box. I'll try and answer them. Otherwise, you can reach out to us at roaringfort.com and I'll give you a free one-on-one session depending on the requirement if you need one. We'll help you transform on the mental plane, and I'll provide you with a free action plan for your particular requirement. No questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Enjoy your Sunday. We meet again next week.